Ew, ew. Hold on. Let me get my adjustment right. I was attempting to go outside with y'all today. I was attempting to go outside with y'all today. It didn't work. So here we are. Here we are. Matter of fact, hold up. Wait, why is my joint not playing? Hold up, baby. Hold up. There we go. My apologies for that. You can't have a Grand Rising Monday without the Island Ting playing. Where's the Island Ting? Hold on. Hold on. I'm tripping. My fault. My bad. My bad. Nobody else's. But yeah, I tried to go outside for y'all, but it was loud. I was right on the balcony, but it was loud. So had to move stuff back in. It is what it is. We adapt. We build as we go, right? How was everybody's weekend? Oh, the phone. I gotta show my hoodie. Hold up. I like that better. I like that better. So we got some dope topics for y'all today. We're going to talk about a little bit about Thanksgiving. We're going to talk about being grateful. We're going to talk about the power of forgiveness. We're going to talk about a bunch of different things. We're kind of touch on a few different things, but all positive energy. Of course, we'll start out today as we always start out until Ace comes on the show or until Ace gets a show with us. That's what we're rocking with. Hold on, my bad. Let me tell y'all Grand Rising. Grand Rising in the chat. How was y'all weekend? What did you get into? We saw Diddy and Cassie settling the fastest. No. Let me stop. We may actually touch on that. We may touch on that. I actually had a video. A few different things. As you're joining, please make sure that you like. For the algorithm, we need that jumping. Y'all know we need that jumping. I don't know if y'all follow Hassan Campbell, but yo, peace, blessings, healings up for my boy, man. My bad. Oh, and stop playing like y'all don't see. Stop playing like y'all don't see that hat. All right, stop playing. Yo, we on. I'm telling you, these compare to Lulu, Alo, however you want to pronounce it. We compare. We're competing. We're here to compete. We are here to compete. All right. Yo, I had another cool video to show y'all. But what's up, man? How was everybody's weekend? Monday. I already got a great text from my big bro, Jim Dory, showing some love, getting me right. It's always dope when the people that you hold in such high regards, the people that matter to you so much, that mean so much to you, that they reach out and let you know that they are grateful for having you in your life. So that's that was the energy this morning when I got the text from big bro. Just saying like, yo, man, like I'm grateful for you, because when somebody is grateful for you, that you know how grateful you are for them, it definitely makes a difference. It definitely makes a difference. Let me actually center this before we start getting into these videos. But we're not going to waste much time today. We're going to get right to it. We are going to get right to it. So yeah, we'll be a little bit everywhere today. We'll be on Instagram. We'll be on Facebook. A little bit of this, a little bit of that. Speaking of, yo, you can't make this up. Hold on. Speaking of, yo, I pull up my Instagram, and who's on it? My big bro. Yo, y'all saw that. Hold on, yo. Are they listening, or is that just the energy? Are they listening, or is that just the energy? And it's funny, he's with these amazing sisters. They have an amazing bread company that I just so happen to know because he introduced me to them. But that just goes to show you how energy is real, or the algorithm is real. But y'all just heard me talking about my big bro, Jim Dory. My big bro, Jim Dory. And this is kind of wild because this isn't even his post. This is their post that they put up, but he's in it. But I was just telling y'all about my big bro. And then I open up my gram, and who's on it? Yo, great energy. Shout out to Ja in the building. Grand Rising, beautiful people. Thankful, grateful, and blessed for another day. Happy Monday. Yeah, Ja energy. Energy. All right, let me get to these. Let's get to big bro. Ace got a good message for us today. Whoa, not my messages. Stop playing. About to say all in the videos. Diddy face. All right. Big bro, let's talk to him.
Now, positive.
I got to hear the whole shouting out. You know what I'm saying? Whoever I'm shouting. Yeah, I got to hear the whole thing.
Shout out everybody, I'm shouting out. Positive message for today. What will you do to protect your positive space? I'm going to say that again. What will you do to protect your positive space? Yes, you can't. It's hard to live positive every day. Yes, there are negative things, but what will you do to protect your peace, to protect your positive mindset? That's the positive message for today. Find ways to protect your positive mindset. Because without that, you'll be in shambles. Peace.
Protecting everything positive in your life. Why I like that message and chose that message is because as we start off a week where, you know, a lot of the week is based on us being thankful, the things that we're grateful for. We need to make sure that we're identifying those things that we are grateful for, the positive things that are contributing to our lives, and that by honoring those things, we're kind of shielding ourselves away from the negative aspects. And we can do it intentionally. Sometimes it could be intentionally where you got to cut things off, or certain influences, certain people. But then it can also just be, and I wouldn't say that this is unintentional, but what may seem, actually, this may be the most intentional way. It's funny how we see things, because initially I was going to say the intentional things are more so like cutting people off, cutting certain things off, activities, whatever influences. And I was going to say the unintentional side is more so based around like things that you would say like more from an energy standpoint. Like, oh, I want to put out positive energy, so therefore I receive it and I'm protecting myself. That's the most intentional way that we can actually do it. That is the most intentional way. So maybe by controlling our energy, we always talk about how it starts with us. Maybe the best way for us to protect the positive things that are in our life, maybe the best way to do that is to by just making sure that we're putting out positive energy. And that's the best way to protect that positive space, to where we're almost creating a shield around the negative, to like fend off all the negative energy by being positive. Look at it like that. Like we're looking to create a 360 shield that goes around us, three-dimensional, create this bubble, this aura. Y'all know when you see somebody that's just floating, feels like, you know, they're just floating. They're not even walking. They're just moving in a positive energy, positive frequency. So that's what we want to do. And it's very hard to be mean to somebody that's positive, right? Like it's easy to be mean to somebody that's giving you attitude and stuff like that. So shout out to Big Bro. Protect your positive space. Definitely by any means necessary, protecting that positive space. So like I said, we got a lot of stuff to touch on today. We got some interesting things. We got even got some stuff from Fat Joe that we're gonna touch on. So we will it's like, where do we start? Where should we start? Where should we start? Let's start with Paula Herlock. Let's start with Paula Herlock. I'm not sure if you all are familiar with Paula Herlock, but she does a lot of the stuff on I Never Knew TV, things of that nature, where um, it's a they do a lot of the interviews that we see that are challenging the mind, that are forcing us to understand moving with more energy and more being grounded in tradition rather than getting caught up with all this futuristic technology, just a way of living, all these different things. And shout out to big bro Tafari in the building. It ain't a show unless Tafari here. So now we got a show. Hold on, let me show the comments. Let me show. Hold on. And Ja wrote, what you put out is what you get back. Like it's very much simple like that. And when we look at it like that, it's so empowering because just by understanding that what we put out is what we get back, that means that we control everything. We control everything. I was having a dope conversation yesterday um, with my boy Chris. So my boy Chris Hansen, that's the one. If you see me wear the vacay hat, um, yo, these hats are dope, man. Yeah. If you see me wearing the vacay hat, that's his company. And we were eating yesterday, and actually my boy John Chavon was down. So it was just good energy. And we were having dinner and just discussing a lot of just life stuff. Just life stuff. And a lot of this stuff came up that we'll kind of get into. But yeah, I kind of even lost my train of thought as I went on that little tangent. But y'all know I'll get it back. Y'all know I'll get it back. But let's get into, is this the video? This the one? Yep, this is it right here. Hold on, hold on. Bear with me. Bear with me. Mm, 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 mm. All right, boom. Got it. Miss Paula, please come to the stage. Thank you. And real quick, and before I play the video, why this video stood out to me is because as this week we're talking about being grateful, all these other things. I think it's very important. This topic, which is something that I struggle with, which talks about forgiveness and how forgiveness not forgiving can lead to a lot of the different harmful health conditions that a lot of us suffer from. So just wanted to, touch on this, put out some good energy for the week and make sure that we are in control of our minds. And that's actually what I wanted to mention about the dinner yesterday. The gentleman that Chris is going to be interviewing, that's what he focuses on, just taking control of your mind, true control, becoming a master of you. And when we become a master of you, it's going to unlock so many different doors, allow us to be forgiving, allow us to just be more comfortable in these different spaces that bring out the best in us. So all of this stuff is connected. So we'll listen to Paula. Hold on.
People struggle with moving into a higher consciousness by holding on to their old self. What advice would you give to ones who are letting their
Grand
old self
Rising, thank you.
prevent them from moving into their new higher self?
That's a tricky question because, like everyone else, I'm also struggling with releasing aspects of the old self. And what I have observed, not just in myself, but in other people around me, is that we are still, many times, while we strive for growing our consciousness and evolving ourselves spiritually, emotionally, physically, we are still stuck in childish paradigms. Um, Most specifically, unforgiveness. Unforgiveness is the single most um, trait that's keeping people from evolving spiritually.
Mm.
People remember something that was done to them, a wrong that was done to them 10, 15, 20, 35 years ago, and they have not forgiven or let go or released that situation. What they don't know is that holding on to it is actually detrimental to themselves, their body. It's a chemical and physiological thing that happens when you hold on to unforgiveness. A lot.
And real quick, so that's something that we've all heard, you know, when you don't forgive somebody else, that you have to sit with it. We've all been in those situations where the person that we're not forgiving, they're not even thinking about it, so therefore they're not even being bothered by it. But because we're holding it in, because we have such an issue or strong feelings towards it, we're allowing it to eat ourselves up. But we very rarely think about it from a physiological standpoint and how it can actually affect our bodies and how it can cause disease and how it can cause sickness. So this is just something else to take into consideration, which he's talking about, which is it goes above and beyond the negative and detrimental effects that we may have associated with it, just from a mental standpoint, but that obviously we all know that we're connected, mind, body, soul. So therefore, if it affects us mentally, it can be draining to our bodies and also cause a lot of these diseases and illnesses that she's going to discuss.
A lot of people who develop cancers in the colon, it's because they would not let go of things that happened on forgiveness, right? It's the barrier to evolving, right? Some of us hold on to unforgiveness of a.
Are y'all good with forgiving? Put in the chat. Put in the chat if that's something that you struggle with or if it's something that comes very easy for you. We're gonna do a little study. Let's put it in the chat because I want to know. And it's not really that serious for me. I struggle with it, so I'll be upfront with it. Well, actually, do I? I don't know. I don't know. I guess we'll get into it. I guess it'll come out, you know, as we discuss it a little bit more. But put in the chat whether or not you struggle. Put like I'm forgiving or I'm unforgiving. Matter of fact, no, don't put I am forgiving. I'm not unforgiving, because hold on. We got to use that I am very carefully. Just put it's a struggle or it's easy for me. You know, if it's easy for you. And shout out to Kiki. Kiki already wrote it's a struggle for me. It's a struggle because especially if you have if you are somebody, a person of integrity, then when somebody else bothers you, you're trying to make sense out of something. At least this is how it is for me. I realize that I'm trying to make sense out of something that's not supposed to make sense. And then I just drive myself crazy and crazy, because how can you make sense out of something that will never make sense because it doesn't align with your integrity, your principles? However, you know, it's easy for others, perhaps. Kiki wrote, holding grudges is something I pray about. Yo, I'm glad that you're praying about it. I'm glad that you're praying about it. Big bro Tafari says depends. I would think that that's an honest answer for you, big bro. Like, as I'm thinking about it, because I could easily see you, you know, being bothered by it, but I could easily see you like, F them. You know, it is what it is. So I don't know. Let's get into it a little bit more. Let's see what she has to say.
Teacher that wronged us, someone that bullied us in school, but we carry that victim situation all through our life because we have not let it go. We are triggered when we go into situations as adults where we're bullied. And so we're going to react. And sometimes that reaction is unconscious and less than spiritually evolved. The same thing happens where we move from unforgiveness into hatred.
Mm.
Hatred is a whole nother set of emotion that triggers chemical reactions in your body. A hatred now grows into this whole thing of anger and bitterness and resentment. And those emotions carry a chemical charge in the body. They will say that the heart generates a charge when it's generating loving thoughts. Apparently, and this is something I've just learned recently, when there's anger or hatred in the heart, it generates a lot of sodium. And so your body now becomes
Whoa.
what they call salty. In Jamaica, we
Hold on, hold on. Hold on. We got to talk about that. So what she said was that when you have a lot of hatred in your heart, resentment, and it's funny how she's saying it like they call it salty. Like that's something that we've been saying too. Like, so it's funny how different cultures or things probably came from meaning this, or I guess I believe she's Jamaican, but something like where they started off calling people salty for a certain reason, where we just always said it and we don't really understand the meaning behind it. But she's saying that when you develop this hatred for somebody, your sodium levels rise, which that could be pretty interesting because a lot of the times with high blood pressure, I believe sodium contributes a lot to that. High blood pressure, a lot of these diseases and whatnot. So, damn, think about it. Just really being salty, just really hating, really increases your sodium. I thought that was dope. I thought that's something that I didn't know that was an actual thing. I thought it was just something that we say.
say you're salt. And bad things happen. So
And hold on, I seen Najah commented, I forgive, but I don't forget. And depending on what it is, depends on how quickly I am to forgive. And again, I never forget. Yeah. I think I'm more along the lines of that. If I was asking myself a question and asking you a question, because I'm right there with you. Can you truly, so this is my question, can you truly forgive without forgetting? I think you can, but this is me. Hold on, I want to ask, I'm asking myself, so I got to be open to, me, maybe how I saw it before was not right, but can you truly forgive without forgetting? And two would be, is forgetting too dangerous to put you at risk of being taken advantage of again? So the first question is, can you truly forgive without forgetting? And then the second question is, what was the second question? Oh, when you actually do forgive, or when you actually do forget, are you opening yourself up to being harmed again, or whatever you would call it, whatever situation happened to you? So y'all answer that, and we're going to keep getting into the video.
that's why when people walk around with a lot of anger and resentment and bitterness in them, they now start to attract negative things in their life. A sequence of negative things start to happen. And then in Jamaica, we would say, yeah, man, them salt. This happened and then that happened and then that happened. If you went and did a thorough examination of that person, you would find that they're carrying a lot of bitterness, anger, resentment, unforgiveness in them. You also will see it in someone's face, in how they age. And we'll see some people and we'll see, oh my goodness, they're just aging beautifully. And they carry so much light. There is so much beauty in their eyes, in their whole persona. It is because those persons have an affinity for forgiving, for releasing, for letting go, for not carrying anger. You can see it in someone's face, you can hear it in their voice, and you can see it in their behavior and in their demeanor. No.
Y'all know what she's talking about. There's like a few people, and I always not envy or jealous of them, but I appreciate it in them. Or maybe it is a certain level of envy, because I always, like, there's certain people that just walk around, they're always happy, they're always smiling. And somebody said that, matter of fact, my boy said that, whatever. There's a lot of people that just go around smiling all day, no matter what they face. Matter of fact, my big bro's like that, Jim Dory. And nothing ever shakes them. And not to say that just by being angry, we don't necessarily consider that as like, oh, they're shaking up or anything like that. But from a standpoint of when you don't harbor those ill feelings or get angry or get triggered by something or become bothered by it, then you're not even focusing on it. Because even if something bothers you, and as soon as you recognize that it does bother you and it stays with you, even if we're not having the hatred, or even if we don't feel like it's negatively affecting us, our minds are still on it. So that's, if we have a pie and our mind, is made up of a pie, and if part of our pie is thinking about something negative, or part of our pie is thinking about some resentment or anything like that, it's immediately taken away, taking a piece that could be positive and creating a negative. So it's almost like a cancer, how a cancer can spread when you have these negative things that are just sitting there. Now sometimes they could just be stagnant and not grow. But the more that we open ourselves up to even think about them, of course, when it becomes a resentment, when it becomes hatred, it can grow even faster. But just having it there can be harmful, just by understanding that we're taking our energy away from something positive and focusing on something negative.
We're all different. So different things like memory, retention, it's going to be different from person to person. So there are persons who have a greater affinity physiologically to remembering things, and therefore remembering the wrongs that were done to them, and therefore carrying the anger, the bitterness, the resentment within them for years. And then there are those people who don't think about what happened to them 25 years ago. They really don't remember, and they, have dismissed it. They don't think about it. They're just living in the present and moving forward. So there are actually personality types that hold on to things, and their personalities that just let them go and move forward. Women tend to hold on to things longer. It's just how we're designed. Men, they'll remember it. It will be a problem. They'll be angry, and then they let it go and move on. So what it requires for us to grow in consciousness and grow spiritually and evolve as a person is for us to recognize these traits in ourselves and manage them. So I was a hothead when I was younger. Everybody, my dad used to call me warlock because I was always at war. But I had to stop and calm myself down, watch how I reacted, manage my reactions, manage my outbursts, manage how I use my words, manage my tone, manage my body language, manage how I put my face, just so that.
Do y'all think that just a smile, going back to like the old Kev Samuels videos, do we understand what a smile can do just to change the internal energy that we are putting out to the world? So our internal energy, just by smiling, do we understand how that can change and project a different energy out to the world just by simply smiling? By simply smiling and reminding ourselves, and I don't know what ways can get you to smile. It's very easy to think about some of the things that you're just grateful for. Think about some of the things that you are fortunate to have in your life, whether that's family, whether that's friends, whether that's excellent job or business, whatever it may be. Just by simply smiling. And it's not just about how others perceive us. Like, I don't want to necessarily be about, oh, we'll just smile for other people, but understanding what that can do for us internally, for our perspective, how it can immediately put more energy on positive rather than negative, right? Like, as we go throughout the day, we're almost in, like, when somebody asks you, how was your day? It's more so we're going to say we're doing like a balancing act, right? We're thinking about the scale, and we're like, okay, what things positive happened, what things negative happened. And if it's more negative, we're rough day. If it's more positive, what do we say? It's a good day. By just so as we go along throughout the day, we're kind of like, it's a game, it's a battle, it's a challenge, whatever it may be, between positive, good stuff that we can put out, that we can internalize, and the negative stuff that we'll internalize. So as we're going throughout the day, think of it almost as a challenge. I know we talked about like the stoic challenge before, like by being stoic, by being calm, never reacting emotionally too much, but go think about this as a challenge. How can I be positive about every single situation? How can I go into it smiling? How can I, just for me, it's not even for anybody else. And the more positive things that we put out, that's going to compound all of the positive things, all of the things that make us happy, all of the things that we're looking forward to. It's going to compound attention in those areas while taking away attention from the negative areas. So therefore, what do we always talk about? You know, we're not only a broadcasting system, but we're also a receiver system as well. So just for us, we're changing our broadcast outward. So therefore, we're changing what we receive back to us. So that's at least how I see it. Y'all tell me how y'all see it.
I wouldn't incur the wrath of any more people, because then if you trouble me, I go.
And hold on, let me just catch up with the chat. So Kiki wrote, that sounds accurate. I always feel like I would never do people how they've done me. So I feel some type of way, but I act like it doesn't until it doesn't. I keep smiling on. Yeah, it's and that's what I was talking about earlier. Like when you're a good person, it's so funny how quote unquote good person, but the people that don't care, like the people that are not bothered by how they mistreat people and stuff like that, it almost seems like those are the ones that can just move on and not even be tripping over a situation. Meanwhile, the people that actually have integrity, have morals, things will just sit with that group of people a little bit longer. Things will bother that group of people. And maybe that's the reason why a lot of times, you know, negativity seems to win. If you look at our culture, society overall, a lot of the times negativity is pushed because maybe because it can be grasped so easily, or because a lot of the times, like we have to wonder like why our culture is so negative, why things are so negative. And maybe that's because we're just more comfortable grabbing hold of that than grabbing hold of the positive. Maybe that's more of a victim mentality. I don't know what it is. Maybe that's just what we've been conditioned, but a lot of the times we'll grab hold of something negative. Think about the TV shows that we watch. We want to see somebody else's negative drama, right? We're drawn to it. It just is what it is. The stuff that we want to see on TV, we want to see a movie where somebody gets hurt. We always like a lot of these, even if it is a bounce back story, it's like, well, they got to go through something first. Like they got to go through something negative rather than just, you know, flowing in a positive frequency. So I definitely get it. For a lot of us, it's going to be tough to kind of make that adjustment, but it's necessary. It's necessary. Other than that, we'll just wear and hold the weight of other people's negative energy while they're moving along, doing their thing, not even concerned. So, yeah, it's just something to think about, Kiki. But yeah, I definitely struggle with the same thing. I do.
In trouble, you're back. It's going to be a war. I'm a Jamaican first.
Grand Rising, Aunt.
But with time and with age, one recognizes the importance of managing themselves, managing their emotions, managing their thoughts, managing their reactions. And that helps to evolve you. Then after a while...
All right, so what did she just talk about? Yo, this could be a dope challenge. This could be a dope challenge where we're just being a little bit more conscious of how we're responding to situations. Understanding what is our response to something. And if we look at it, it's almost like the Stoic challenge. It's the same thing. All of these concepts are so intertwined, where when something happens to you, look at it as a game to see like, yo, how I would have responded to this previously or normally is this way. Now I'm responding this way. And when you can feel that growth and then see the results that come from that growth, where you're not bothered by something for a long period, where things are not You don't have to call your best friend, call your parents and complain, or call whoever. You don't have to call your get into an argument with your significant other, all these different things. When we're able to do that and we see the growth from more just staying on a positive track, to me, that's not only going to become addicting because we see the benefits from it, but it's also just going to invite more and more positive energy. So
You realize that you've evolved, then you start to recognize that there are many things that happen that you don't need to dwell upon anymore, and you can let them go.
this reminds me of just living in the present. Living in the present. The best way to appreciate an opportunity and everything that we are confronted with, challenged with, blessed with, it's all providing us an opportunity. It's all providing us with an opportunity. And when we can appreciate the actual moment that we're in, not dwell on the past, not be nervous or super duper anxious about the future, it allows us to appreciate the now, to address the now, to be our very best selves in the now. It's almost like in sports. If you're worried about a play 5 plays from now, then are you really going to be locked in on this play? If you're worried about a bad play that happened 5 plays ago, are you really going to be locked in on this play? We're all looking to get the best results from where we currently are in our current situation. So therefore, our future will be brighter. So therefore, we can look at what happened in the past as a lesson or a stepping stool to get us to a higher point in the future. So, but we can only do those things by focusing on the now. Nothing else is real but what's happening now. The past is the past. The future is something that hasn't happened yet. So the only thing that we can consider real is what's going on right now. And if we're locked in and if we're locked in the now, that is the only way for us to not guarantee success. Well, I would say guarantee success by being locked in where we are now. That's where we're putting ourselves in the best position to have success later on.
So it takes some level of consciousness and awareness, self-awareness, to be able to move.
And hold on, let me say, Ant came in the building. Y'all saw my bro Ant. Janae, what up, Janae? Good to see you. Janae said, I love the idea of knowing when not to dwell and let go. I feel like you're good at that. You give off that type of energy. You give off the type of energy that things don't bother you. You don't let things like even hold you to a certain point. That's a very useful quality and attribute. And it's probably one, I don't know, you tell me, when you see the or other people that may be like this, you could probably throw people off. You can throw people off. You can disarm them. You know, certain people that are negative, when you just have a positive energy, it almost makes that negative person, you know, look at themselves and be like, yo, that was kind of, you know, this person's being nice to me. Maybe not in the moment, but it just has you question your own negative energy just by running into somebody who's looking at a positive situation. You know, those people where some people just like to complain. Some people just like to dwell. Some people just like to be in that negative energy. And like she said earlier, those are the people that negative things will just consistently happen to, but they're comfortable in that complaining stage. I don't know whether that's because they just don't truly believe that they deserve better. If they're not comfortable, you know, getting better, you know, some people, you give them a compliment, they're not comfortable with that. I don't know what it is. Whether it's just maybe not a deserving type of thing, whatever it is, but it's something for us all to work on. It's something for us all to work on. So Janae wrote, I've grown in this area. It takes work, but it is very useful. Sometimes you got to let go to grow. Definitely. Definitely. Got to let go, maybe in a few different ways. Let go of some control. Let go of influences, like we said earlier, friends, whatever that may be. Letting go of the things that maybe we can't control, to focus on being more in control of the things that we can factor, whether or not, you know, the outcome of it. So it's tricky. It's tricky, and it's a lot easier said than done, all of these things, because when you're in the actual moment, that's when those emotions come out. But us being able to control our emotions can can really probably determine the outlook or the outcome, I should say, of our lives. Like who can control their emotions. Think back to people who struggle with controlling their emotions. Remember, think back to different relationships that you've been involved with people who maybe struggled controlling their emotions or struggled communicating in a positive way when they're going through something, or they're more of like the Grinch, or those type of people weigh on us. And we weigh on people when we do it ourselves. So it's just something to be conscious about, something to continue working on. Like Janae said, it takes work. Ant wrote, I agree with Janae, but I do hold those close to me in my circle to a much higher standard because they have more access to my mental and emotional state. I think we definitely should do that. And I think that's one of the best filters that we have. Having high standards. When you have a high standard, automatically you can make people uncomfortable. It's funny. I was having a conversation where I always say like, yo, I'm a lot. Like I'm a lot. You know, people ask me like, even I'll have conversations relationship wise. I'm like, yo, I'm a lot. And I realized, yo, I had to ask myself, I'm like, yo, I'm not a lot to the people that my mentors that I look up to, and those, you know who you're a lot to? You are a lot to the people that are intimidated by your high standards. We are always going to be a lot to the people that are intimidated by the standards that we not only hold for ourselves, but the standards that we hold for people in our circle. So I understand exactly what Ant's talking about. And when you hold people to a higher standard by first and foremost holding yourself to that standard, you're automatically going to filter out through a lot of the people that should not, or may not be in your best interest to be around. So that's how I would see it. I don't know if you guys have the same experience. Let me know. Ant wrote, and the small amount of few that have access to me in that manner can have more effect on how I respond. I'm with that, bro. Let's keep going. Paula giving out the gems.
And you can let them. That helps to evolve you. Then after a while, when you realize that you've evolved, then you start to recognize that there are many things that happen that you don't need to dwell upon anymore, and you can let them go. So it takes some level of consciousness and awareness, self-awareness, to be able to move, manage yourself.
Are y'all able to, in situations like, what is your go-to? What is your go-to play when the opposing team is throwing negative energy at you? Should we all have a go-to play? And what do I mean by that? It's like in sports, we know that, hey, when they do this, we're going to combat it with this, right? When they do this, we're going to run zone because that puts us, that's what's best for us. Or we're going to run this play when they come out in this formation. But in life, we don't necessarily look at it like that, to where when somebody runs a negative play on me, what is the play that I'm running back on it? What is the play that I'm going to now run to put myself, my team in the best possible position? And when I say, do we have a go-to, some people like to yell, the old funny one, count to 100 or count to 10. And what is it doing? It's just giving us time to kind of think about, process, move a little bit more logically rather than just reacting in an emotional, rash way. So what is your go-to play? And maybe we need to all develop something that when a negative situation occurs, maybe for me, one of the things that calms me is breathing. So when I take a few deep breaths, then it can kind of put things in perspective for me. And then when I do handle a situation in a way that was more positive than I perhaps normally would have handled it, or have handled it in the past, like I don't want to say that's my norm, but in a way that I would have handled it in the past, then you feel inspired, you feel empowered, you feel like I just was in control of how I responded to that situation. And I think those are the tools that are going to always push us to elevate rather than just keeping us in this stagnant state of being reactionary. The more that we are in control rather than just reacting to somebody emotionally, we're going to always be in a better place, in my opinion. Hold on. Let me. Hey, and you already know. You know, I saw it. I ain't say nothing. Hold on. And right, I'm a lot to yesterday's associations. Those that inspire me and mentor me think I should be doing more. This is a fact. And I was really thinking about it, and like, because it's like nobody, like, I don't want to be a lot to people. You know what I mean? So this was just something that I was thinking about. And it's like, yo, I got it. And I think for me, there is also a certain part of us that may have to recognize that everybody may not be on those same journeys as you. Health may not be as important to everybody as you. Money may not be as important to everybody as it is to you. So all these different things, now we have to make a decision where we're evaluating, well, even though this person in my life, their standards are not as high in this particular area, how are we able to still exist? Because their standards may be high in different areas. So maybe the real goal is to just compartmentalize where, hey, I know that this friend, they excel in this particular area, where this friend excels in that particular area. So therefore you're able to compartmentalize those things. So you're not disappointed when your fitness inspirational friend doesn't maybe necessarily think the same as you from a financial, you know, from a financial perspective, I should say. So being able to compartmentalize, because other than that, if you're the type of person that, you know, we got a lot of go-getters here. So with a lot of go-getters, we're always pushing ourselves, challenging ourselves in all areas of our lives. So that's something that can be very intimidating to people. Have y'all ever shared with somebody like, yo, I'm working on this. I want to become better at this. And they're almost downplaying it just because, well, if they accept that you're working on it, then maybe that's puts pressure on them to actually work on the same thing. So it's just very interesting. We have to pick and choose carefully. We have to be able to compartmentalize, because other than that, I fear that a lot of us who are maybe this type of personality, go-getter, always pushing ourselves, we'll end up in a room by ourselves. We'll end up just by ourselves, just being turned off by this person because this person's not doing what I think they should be doing, and we'll end up in a room by ourselves. So that's not the goal. So life is just so much about balance. Like every day in every instance, whether it's this situation, whether it's what we are eating, whether it's everything, every single area, life is about balance. So yeah, sorry to go off on that tangent. Hold on. Ant wrote 11K. The chat on the buddy. Yeah, there was 11K there. Y'all saw it. Janae wrote, usually I just remove myself from whatever the situation is. You can't really go wrong with that. You know, that's kind of, if you remove yourself, and I think when we value ourselves, Janae, the more we value ourselves, the easier it is to remove ourselves from situations. The more we value ourselves. So I like that. Ant wrote, my go-to play is to disregard and refocus on something else immediately. If a response is necessary, I just wait until I'm calm, then respond. Yeah, I like try to like sit on it for a little bit. You know, let me wait until tomorrow let me wait till tomorrow AM and then see if I'm still feeling the same way. And during that time, what ends up happening in a lot of cases when, you know, the other person has some time too. So it not only gives you time to figure out how you're going to respond to it, but it also gives the other person time to kind of think about how they responded or how they, did something to you or treated you or approached the situation in a particular way. So it gives both time. And a lot of times we need that time. We need that space because in the moment we are just upset and angry. Matter of fact, Tafari, if you're on here, send me that video, the end moment. The N-word moment, if you're there, because I think that's a good video to kind of demonstrate how emotions can escalate and make people just do irrational things, rational behavior. Janae wrote, my response is to not respond. I love it. It allows you to take a moment to process the proper response. Yeah. Yeah. Very rarely. It's almost like you ever see those interviews after a game when somebody just lost. I remember the Cam Newton interview. My man just lost the Super Bowl. He's coming off an MVP season. He just lost the Super Bowl. And I don't even think it was a close game, if I recall, when they played against Denver. He was getting beat up. Von Miller and them boys beating him up. And they asked him about the game, but he's kind of just like, he kind of just walked off, if I remember correctly. Like, yo, in that moment, like, I care about this. Like, it's very hard for me to even process this. Like, I didn't even get a chance to process how I feel, but you want me to talk about how I feel. It's almost like having to do a speech without ever preparing for the speech, because I wasn't thinking I was going to lose. I didn't write a loser's speech as well as a winner's speech. So therefore, that's kind of how life throws itself at us, where a lot of these situations, it's necessary to kind of just not respond, like Janae said, take a second, process it, and then give it time to give the proper response. Ant wrote, as to the a lot, I was just about to say that I normally justify me being a lot because I have a lot to offer compared to the average guy, but not all can benefit or value that which I offer. That's another thing. Understanding where your value's best suited. Understanding where your value's best suited. Because when we do that, then it to me, it saves for a lot of frustration, both not only on your part, but on their part as well, because it may be frustrating for them as well. So understanding where this value should be pushed and understanding who can truly appreciate this value may save us a lot of wasted energy as well. So I definitely get what you're saying. Najah wrote, I run a positive play and remove myself. My spirit doesn't sit well around negative energy. That's it. Sometimes people just got to get out of there. You got to know when to flee sometimes. Like, I need to get out of here, because if I don't, it's not necessarily about you. And I remember who was talking about this. I think it's in like Cameron said it in one of his songs. Like, when I walk away from a situation, it's not because I fear you, it's because I fear me. You know what I mean? Like, or something like that. I don't even know if it was Cam, but it was that type of situation where it's like, yo, I'm removing myself from this situation for me. It has nothing to do with you. I'm doing what's in my best interest. I'm removing all ego and just saying, you know what? You got it, bro. You got it, sis. I'm gonna go over here for a little bit and just protect myself for right now. Tafari wrote, I don't believe in balance. Something has to take a back seat. What do you mean you don't believe in balance? How could you not believe in balance? So you believe in eating all candy or eating all meat? You believe in just working out until you die? You believe in, like, in what way do you not believe in balance? Do you believe in not having any fun in life? Do you believe in not working at all in life and just having fun? What do you mean as far as you don't believe in balance? To me, and this is my opinion and my observations, I don't know, what does everybody else think? Like, for me, I have to have a certain level of balance in my life, because if I don't, then everything is just an extreme. So if everything's an extreme, to me, that doesn't necessarily allow me to be the best version of myself. But it's different for everybody. So I would just ask you, like, in what areas, let me ask you this question. In what areas do you find balance to be detrimental to you? Let me maybe pose it that way. Ant wrote from the Boondocks. All right, hold on. Hold on. He just texted to me. Where is it? Hold on. Let me get it up on here real quick. But this shit is hilarious. Hold on. Watch where you walk. All right, I got it up here. I got it up here.
Lived in harmony.
I'm playing it on the phone. All right, so yeah. So what do you guys think about that? What do you guys think about that? And Big Bro, let me know what you think about the balance. What area in your life do you feel that it's detrimental to you to be balanced? And good luck on the text. Know where your value is best suited. Janae, major key, definitely. You and Ant definitely brought that to light. So yeah, definitely love that message. Happy Monday, people. And Janae wrote, balance is the only way. That's how I'm telling you, I used to think like I'm still a struggling extremist. I'm a struggling extremist, but it just doesn't work for me. It doesn't work for me. You know what? Even if it helps me achieve certain goals, I'll be totally honest. Even if being unbalanced and being extreme has helped me achieve certain goals, it's been detrimental in a lot of other ways to where I feel as if I could still achieve those goals, or at least what I'm looking for. I'm looking to figure out a way of a healthy obsession, being healthy, a healthy extremism, so to say, to where it's like I can still accomplish the goal, but maybe I'm not an asshole to other people around me. Maybe I'm not turning people off, by having this extreme mindset. I don't like extremes. We talk about this even with politics. I don't like super duper liberals. I don't like super duper conservatives. I like a balance, because to me, that's what life is. We're not, life as much as somebody like me likes to look at it as black and white. In certain ways, I think we still have to realize that even with the black and white, there's a balance among them, so I don't know. That's just my thoughts. Aunt wrote, laughing my ass off, don't have Tafari in a room full of candy and cakes. That's what I'm already like, bro, what you talking about? You don't like balance. What you talking about? You don't like balance. Tafari, he like, I bought a carton of ice cream. I got to eat the whole thing. So maybe Tafari don't like balance. Maybe that's just all right. So good morning. I agree there is no perfect balance, but you can try to at least maintain healthy boundaries, which then create balance in your life. Definitely appreciate that message. That's from somebody on LinkedIn. It says private user, so I can't shout you out because it doesn't show who you are. But that message is definitely received, definitely appreciated, because that's the if there was, think about it. There is no perfect balance, right? And even if there is, even if that's what the goal that we're reaching for, that's perfection, right? Because balance is the hardest thing. It's easy to just say, to put something on the scale and to just weigh one side down, or put something on the scale and weigh the other side down. But it's very hard to find that balance. Think about all these different sports. We're always looking for balance. Whether like a surfer, you're looking for balance. Like life, you elevate when you have a certain balance, because now you're kind of spread across. You're not weighing one side down too much by being a little bit too much in this area and weighing this side down, or the vice versa. So to me, balance it's key. And that's we're searching for it. We'll never find balance is simply just another word for perfection in a lot of ways, how I see it. But we're searching for that. That's what we're striving for, understanding that, I don't want to say we may never get there, but nobody's perfect, but that's just the goal. That's the standard. The standard is balance. All parts have to have balance, or all parts have to balance. It's the key. It's key the way mostly all things work, from diet to money, health, or wheels on a car. 100%. 100%. I like how I like how the wheels on the car analogy. I like that a lot. I can't really see an area to where, I don't know. Big bro's going to tell us. All right. So yes, to all you just said, it takes turns. Sometimes you have to go all in, one or the next. It can be switched, but it won't be balanced. Tafari, is your diet right now balanced? Is your work to fund life balanced? And maybe it's not. And maybe some areas are not going to be balanced. And maybe we should adjust the scale based on what's needed at that particular time. So I understand that some situations, let's say if I'm training for a marathon, then it may be tipped a little bit more in that area, to where I'm doing a little bit more that ways. But let's think about, in a societal standpoint, if balance is our goal, then that means that we're pouring into every single cup that we have. So think about it like this. Let's say we have a health cup. We have a health cup here. Then we have another cup that let's say we have fitness here, we have nutrition here, we have character, integrity, all these different things that factor into who we are as people. And if we're filling those different cups evenly and we're balanced, that means that as one we improve in, we are going to improve in the others because we're always trying to be balanced. So, we can sit here and say like, well, sometimes you got to pour more into that cup. I guess that's part of the balance, knowing when, we poured into that cup a lot more, this month. So now we may have to, balance it off the next month. So that's kind of how I'm seeing it. Janae wrote, I think you can do it all. It's all work. Facts. I don't think we have any. I think do y'all believe that we are limitless? Do you believe that we are limitless in anything that we can do, anything that we can accomplish, anything that we can solve? Do you believe that we're limitless? Because I was thinking, and that movie, shout out to Mayor, my young boy. We always used to watch that Limitless movie. But just a perspective on how we view limits among our circle of friends can impact our outcomes in a huge way. And can impact our circle in a large way. It's hard for somebody who believes that they have limitless capabilities to be in a room with people that feel they have ceilings. In Rick Ross's song "Apple of My Eye," this part always sticks out when he says, "What does he say? In a room full of failures, I feel out of place." That line hit me. Like, in a room full of failures, I feel out of place. Think about the people that are going to be in that failure room. The excuses, the victimhood, all this type of stuff. Yo, I feel out of place. I don't want to be here. You know what I mean? So I don't know. Let's see what Tafari's talking about. I do. I believe we can't even imagine the heights we are able to go. Ant wrote, no, we have limits there, however, set by self. So the fact that we have power, the fact that we set our limits, doesn't that make us limitless? Because the limitless is the potential power that we have, right? That's the potential. Now, how we decide to set those limits, that's just on us with our behavior, with our actions, with our productivity, all these different things. But aren't we still limitless? If somebody has the potential to score 100 on a test, but they score an 80, then they still have the capability of getting 100, right? So I don't know if this is the right analogy, but I still, based on what you're saying, and I would still say that we're limitless because we are the only ones that determine those limits. So it's still on us. Tafari wrote, no, my diet or work, but hold on. But now to what you're saying, I say that we limit ourselves, that we are the ones that limit ourselves. So therefore, I still think that we're limitless. I still believe that we're limitless, but I get what you're saying. Tafari wrote, no, my diet or work to fund life isn't balanced. Work is hard. Diet is hard. Fun slides in 1 or 2 days out the week. See, hold on. So Tafari, maybe if you enjoyed work more, let me ask you this. If you enjoyed work more, do you think that you would increase your productivity? If you enjoy the work that you do, do you think that increases your productivity? Do you think that increases your chances of being passionate about it if you actually enjoy it? So maybe, and I'm just, maybe what I would recommend to you is to think about how you can have more balance in those particular areas, especially when it comes to work. When work is not fun, when work is not enjoyable, then you're not going to go above and beyond for it. So therefore, for you, maybe what you may want to do, I don't know, take it or leave it, is to figure out a way to have more enjoyment at work, or to figure out a way to do something else that you enjoy more, because then you'll be able to be more passionate about it. And for you, somebody who's purpose driven, that I would assume that your enjoyment aligns with your purpose, so that the more that you feel that you're living on your purpose, the more that you're enjoying life. So therefore, if you factor in more enjoyment into what you're doing, that's also going to push you to be doing something that is more aligned with your purpose. So therefore, as you're doing something that's more aligned with your purpose, you'll simultaneously, you're also enjoying it more. You're also more passionate. You're also leaning into it more. So therefore, you're going to get better results. Yes? No? I don't know. What do you think? Ant wrote yes and no. The limitless is where we are currently. The potential to be limitless is always there. If we were truly limitless, we could achieve everything, but we achieve that which we focus on now. But just because you have limitless power doesn't mean that you use it. Like when you get in your car, you don't always just go as fast as the car goes. So just because you're not using it, does it mean that you don't have it? Like, weren't we all born with a certain level of internal greatness or the potential for greatness? But just because we don't use it, we still have it, right? Like, we still have it in us, right? I don't know. I guess it's just maybe it's just a perspective type of thing. Maybe it's just semantics as far as what we're discussing.
To the point where you can evolve your spiritual self, evolve your thoughts, evolve your actions to be more moderate and moderated, and to manage yourself so that you don't infuriate others, offend others, and create situations that constantly escalate. We all have that ability to manage ourselves. And it is the persons who manage themselves well that are actually in the best position to evolve themselves. It requires introspection and self-awareness, and it's something that we all, male and female, should strive towards doing.
All right. Shout out to Aunt Paula. All right, hold on. Let me see. And Aunt wrote, yeah, I think we're saying the same thing, but a little differently. That's what I think. I think we're saying the same thing. I think we definitely agree. It's just how we see it. But it's definitely, put it this way, your limit is controlled by you. Your limit is controlled by you. So I get what Ant's saying. He's saying if you don't take advantage, if you don't lean into and really push your limits, then you will be limited. I get what you're saying. That makes sense to me. All right, so I want to get to this, a couple different videos. Where did I want to start? There's a Fat Joe video. Matter of fact, I want to show this video. And y'all remind me, did I show you the video with the lion and the dog with the confidence? It's the video that you sent, Tafari. But first I got to show, hold on. First, let me show the moment, that the video that I was talking about before with the Boondocks. And why do I think it's important to show that one? Hold on. Let me share the other screen. So this is what happens when people get emotionally caught up rather than thinking logically. Get too emotionally caught up. This is what I was talking about earlier. When you get emotionally riled up with something, all sense, all logic goes out the window to where you become so reactionary, where something will feel like it's the right thing to do, but we can see how from the video how it sometimes plays out. So let's just watch the video.
Watch where you walking, nigga. Hey, what you say, nigga?
Watch closely. You're about to experience a nigga moment. Webster defines the nigga moment as a moment when ignorance overwhelms the mind of an otherwise logical Negro male.
What did you say, bitch nigga? Hey, squeeze it, nigga.
Causing him to act in an illogical, self-destructive manner, i.e., like a nigga. Nigga moment.
Now, as much of a caricature or cartoon that you want to call this, is it really that far-fetched? That's the wildest part. Is it really that far-fetched, these type of situations occurring? When we hear these crazy things happening, we find out where it started from. Now people are either dead, spending the rest of their lives locked up. That means little daughters, sons are growing up without parents. That means parents are growing up without kids, all these different things.
Are unpredictable.
Hey, wait, man, wait. This is stupid. Hey, you right, dawg. Look, let's put the guns away and go on about our business. Freeze!
But they all end up bad. If they had their own category, nigga moments would be the third leading killer of black men behind pork chops and FEMA. It's a fact. Now let's see how a nigga moment affects a white man.
Frick. Watch where you walking, bitch.
What did you...
Excuse
Wait
the
a
language.
minute. I'm white.
Where you going? Don't you ignore me. This is a perfectly good moment to throw your life away.
Yo, all right, so let's talk about that video. Hold on. Come on, enough.
Watch where you walking, nigga. Hey, what you say, nigga?
Hold on.
Watch closely. You're about to...
Hold on, my bad. Let me get this off the screen real quick. Oh, and said this is the video you talking about last week. Yo, so as funny as that video is, or as not funny as the video is, there's a lot of truth behind it. And we talked about being in control of our emotions, controlling how we respond to certain situations. Now, every situation is not going to be as extreme as the one that we just saw, obviously, but you know, when we talk about like microaggression, I don't know what they mean, but there's things throughout the day. There's things that happen throughout the day that we respond to that could mean the difference in us making more money, us being a better husband, us being a better wife, boyfriend, girlfriend, whatever that may be. Small situations can escalate, and we see them all the time. And I think that there's so the other video that I wanted to show y'all actually centers on that. It's a couple that shows the difference between how small things can make big changes. But even when you go to the end of that video, where, you know, a lot of people may get turned off when the guy says, hold on, I'm white. Like, I don't need to get caught up in this. Obviously, a lot of us who are not white are not going to say, you know, hold up, I'm white. But there should be that enlightened moment when we get into a situation where, let's say you're arguing, let's say you're arguing with your wife or you're arguing with your girlfriend. There should be a moment that takes over, which is like, hold on, this is silly. We love each other. I love you. You love me. And most of the arguments are based off of little dumb stuff to where this may be bothering me, this may be bothering you, all this. Yeah, we love each other. You may get into an argument with your parents. Yo, these are my parents. They raised me. They care about me. They love me. This is my son. He loves me. In all these situations, when we can have that moment that reminds us from a logical standpoint, rather than still getting caught up in emotions, that's the thing that's going to allow us to avoid a lot of potential problems and issues that we previously may not have been able to avoid. So I don't know, take it or leave it. I'm definitely rocking with the hold on. Sometimes you got to remind yourself, remember who you are, remember what you have to lose. When you can remember what you have to lose, then sometimes that helps to ease a little bit of that pride, ease a little bit of that ego, to the point where you don't feel like you just have to react. Nah, just off of principle. All these different things. So that's kind of how I see it. All right, let's get into this next one. So this video shows the difference. A couple did a great job of showing the difference between how small things can affect a relationship, a marriage, or a situation in general.
I don't know Someday I
Little choices. Small choices matter. Small choices matter in a big way. Does anybody else experience this in their relationships, friendships, across the board? And you realize how just something little that's done throughout the day can make the difference in making something super positive or making something super negative, or maybe making something just super bland. You know, I didn't see them necessarily having issues in this video. Where their issues weren't necessarily like they weren't fighting and, you know, having all the craziness, but it showed a different level of connection. It showed a different level of appreciation, a different amount of love. That's what you see when you look at the video, and they show the differences between how they respond to each other, from how she greeted him to, you know, how excited he was, all these different things, him helping her in the kitchen, whatever it may be. You know, you see these things and they tend to be those moments that compound and either turn into bigger moments that are bigger in a positive way or bigger in a negative way. So hold on, we got a message from LinkedIn. All right, so on LinkedIn, hold on, let me get rid of this for a sec. It says, when we realize we have the power to shift the atmosphere, it's a game changer. I don't see people taking a beat, a lot of reactive moments, taking a beat, a lot of moments. For i.e., a girl missed a plane and ran down the tarmac to try to get on the plane when it was clearly no way for her to board the plane. Now she is on a no-fly list rather than maybe finding another flight. Ari, my girl, shout out to Ari. Oh, I'm glad that you tapped in with us. I get exactly what you're saying. A lot of times when we respond with emotions and from a non-logical standpoint, we put ourselves in even worse positions where if we would have just sat our asses down and just thought for a second, we could have figured something out. Whereas now, you know, you see a video like the Boondocks where, yo, you just stepped on my shoe. So it went from stepping on my shoe to us killing each other, to us being locked up. Like, and these little situations escalate. So the positive aspect of it is the little situations can also escalate into positive if you're doing the little positive things. So definitely received that. Shout out to you, Ari. I'm glad that you're here. Thank you so much. All right, so let's get into some of these other videos. So Fat Joe had an interesting take on 9 to 5s that I wanted to share with y'all, get y'all opinion and see what you think. So let's get into that.
Simple as that. These people play God with your lives. My titi Amalia, my wife's aunt, worked for a company for 19 years. She was months away from retiring. Months away. She thought this company was her company. Rain, sleet, or snow, she walked up every day, worked for her bosses, did all type of things for her bosses. She thought they was just one big family. One day the boss came, shut down the business. There is no security in jobs. 19 years the woman went there. They just shut down the business. Now she didn't get no bonus. She didn't get no retirement. She didn't get no warning. A year's passed. Titi Amalia still crying every day. She can't believe these people did this to her. She thought they were really her friends and her family. There is no job security. This is why you have to be your own boss. You have to know that the only person that is going to give you security you want is you. Sometimes God gives us setbacks, but he's just setting you up for a comeback.
Okay, Preacher Joe. So I took away a lot of things from this message. And a lot of times we talk about, you know, the 9 to 5s, you know, all that type of stuff. Is it better to have a business? Everybody's not a business-minded person, whatever it may be. But I actually got a few different messages from hearing Fat Joe speak. And one of those messages was more aligned with if we sell ourselves short, selling ourselves short, it's always going to put us in a position to where we never are able to reach that potential. Like when we talk about the whole limit and limitless, a lot of that's based on how we see ourselves. You know, do we see ourselves as a business person? And a lot of times what is seen as a business person can intimidate us without actually just understanding, you know, what it could be. And it probably prevents a lot of people from even deciding to go out on their own and create their own business. I don't, I go back and forth with the whole 9 to 5 stuff. Because all right, so you have your 9 to 5, and then let's say you have a business on the side. What did Paula say in the video that we first watched where, oh, actually, she didn't say it in this video. That's another video that she had, which was just discussing, you know, the balance aspect, but that, you know, everybody wants to have a job and then have a business. I don't think that was in that last video that we watched because I watch a bunch of her videos. So sometimes I get confused. But what do y'all think? Like, is the 9 to 5, is that the security aspect that we're looking for? Can we still just rely on a 9 to 5? I know 9 to 5s were a little bit different 50 years ago. So therefore, when our parents were convincing us, you know, go to school, get a 9 to 5, this is security. Do we still see it as that? Has it grown and matured well with how we view society? That's how I would look at it. And I think Shy wrote, hold on, this is probably too. I probably was a little bit late, Shy. My bad. Hold on. I can't see when exactly you wrote it, so I don't know what exactly you responded to. But either way, it's a good game. Stop and ask yourself, does this serve my purpose to my life? I think that we can ask ourselves that about any energy that we're putting out. When we value our time, when we value our effort, when we value ourselves, then we're going to be more conscious about the things that serve us, the things that are aligned with our purpose, as we were discussing earlier. So I'm definitely on board with that, Shy. But from this standpoint with Fat Joe, like how is that something that we feel? Like, what do we feel about that? Are more and more of us feeling not as satisfied, not as comfortable with our 9 to 5 jobs? Is this something that we should be thinking about? Should we always be looking at ourselves like, hey, our family is the business that matters the most, not this company that I work for, to where I'm helping their family business, but not necessarily prioritizing mine? And I think it can go, I think there's pros and cons to both. I tend to more so lean on making the family a business. To me, that's very important. Like, to me, that's the ultimate goal. When your family can be the business. And when you see, to me, when you see yourself, when you see you as a business, when you see your family as a business, it changes your perspective. It changes your perspective on the roles that need to be fulfilled, appreciating the different team members, appreciating what everybody brings to the table, understanding what's needed, understanding the goal of all this stuff. It allows you to put more responsibility and accountability on yourself for being responsible for your financial status, your provision, all these different things, protection even. It puts more onus and responsibility on us. And I think that when that happens, that's always going to, it's always going to be serve a certain amount of positive in that regard. I'm big on accountability and responsibility. So that's how I would see that. But I just thought that was an interesting post. It's always something that intrigues me, you know, what route certain people decide to go, whether it's the entrepreneurial route, whether it's the non-entrepreneurial route, 9 to 5, more traditional route, whatever it may be. So that's just what I was thinking. Boom. Hold on. This is a dope little video right here. But let me show y'all this video on confidence. And did y'all say that I showed you this video?
A lost dog.
Did I show you this video? Somebody give me a little yes or no real quick. While I read this message. So Ari said, most Black people don't have direct access to capital. So leveraging your 9 to 5 to achieve family goals, you're always going to be on someone's payroll to an extent. Yeah. And do I think that most Black people don't have access to direct capital? I honestly can't say that I don't know if I can accept that. Just me. I don't know if I can accept that most black people don't have direct access to capital. Break down direct for me. Are you talking about more from like coming from like generational wealth to where you could just ask mom and dad for some money? Or are you talking about a bank? So I get what you're saying. I get what you're saying. But I also, regardless of that aspect, I understand the importance of being able to leverage your 9 to 5. And to me, the best way to even get in the mindset to where you would be able to leverage your 9 to 5 is seeing yourself as a business. Even if you have a 9 to 5, it's very important, in my opinion, for us to see ourselves as a business, because then we're going to make decisions in a different way rather than just putting responsibility on our job. When we see ourselves as a business, our family as a business, it's going to put ourselves in the mindset to where now we can take that 9 to 5, the money that we make from there, and invest it into something else. But if we never see ourselves as a business, I think we're less likely to see the 9 to 5 as a tool, but we're more likely to see the 9 to 5 as a savior, to where the 9 to 5 is putting food on the table. The 9 to 5 is what's giving me security. The 9 to 5 is what's allowing me to have life, rather than the 9 to 5 serving a purpose as a tool to invest into other things that are going to provide me the security, that are going to provide me the safety, that are going to provide me the stability, all these different things. So that's how I would see it. But I totally agree, as far as, you got to leverage the 9 to 5. But a lot of times if we don't start leveraging and seeing ourselves as a business and seeing how we should leverage our 9 to 5 early on, it becomes tougher and tougher as we get older, because we have more and more expenses. We become more and more caught up in our ways. We allow society to kind of beat us up and dictate what we should and should not be doing, rather than seeing ourselves from the jump as the business. Because investing can be tough. Be it taking money out of your savings account and putting it into something else that is not a guarantee, that can be very difficult for people. It's delayed gratification, right? So a lot of times people are like, nah, I'm going on this vacation. Well, imagine if all of that money or some of that money was now put towards strictly investment purposes. Even if it's a 9 to 5, you're allowing the 9 to 5 to feed your family business. So that's how I would see it. That's how I do see it. But we'll take a look at this video. Y'all didn't say anything, so I'm assuming that y'all didn't see it. But I thought it was a very dope video that dictates or that illustrates how important confidence can be for people. So let me back out and then come back in.
A lost dog strays into a jungle. A lion sees this from a distance and says with caution, "This guy looks edible, never seen his kind before." So the lion starts rushing towards the dog with menace. The dog notices and starts to panic, but as he's about to run, he sees some bones next to him and gets an idea and says loudly, that was some good lion meat." The lion abruptly stops and says, "Whoa, this guy seems tougher than he looks. I better leave while I can." Over by the treetop, a monkey witnessed everything. Evidently, the monkey realizes that he can benefit from this situation by telling the lion and getting something in return. So the monkey proceeds to tell the lion what really happened, and the lion says angrily, "Get on my back, we'll get him together." So they start rushing back to the dog. The dog sees them and realized what happened and starts to panic even more. He then gets another idea and shouts, "Where the hell is that monkey? I told him to bring me another lion an hour ago." Moral: never lose your confidence in the difficult situations. Use all of your wit and knowledge in the face of challenges. And beware of such monkeys around you. Identify them before they harm you. A
word. When we talk about the importance of confidence, it factors into everything. We always talk about like not running from dogs or not running from bears or anything that when you're getting attacked, all these different things. That's tough. It's tough. And it's tough in life. It's tough in life to stand in something where you have to be most confident in perhaps your most vulnerable moments, where you have to be most confident. Think about the people that we love. Think about the sports figures that we love so much. Why do we love Brady? Why do we love Mike? Why do we love Kobe? Because we like, he actually lives for these type of situations, the situations that would scare us to death. when you're the guy and you see somebody like Kobe who is like, yo, I love this. Like, I love it. And you can really see it. Yo, that's a different type of confidence. That's what we all should be striving for. We should all welcome, like they see they see these situations that a lot of us are in. And of course, we always use the sports analogies, but just in life, when you see somebody who's down and out, who, if you're looking at it like, yo, if I was in their situation, I would be tripping right now. But they just have a certain level of confidence that allows them to still move with integrity, still move with morals and principles, and to know that regardless of where I am now, because I'm focusing on the now, my future is still going to be bright. Like, I just welcome these, like, oh my God. Think about a movie. Think about all these different things. The best movies, the best stories come from somebody have the greatest suffering, the most harshest challenges, failure, whatever it may be, and overcoming those odds, overcoming those setbacks. Those are what create the best movies. So instead of running from a situation when we're confronted with it, why not be able to just sit in it and look at it like, yo, this is going to be a dope movie. This is going to be a dope part of my movie. Because think about it for that dog. That dog now has the greatest story ever and will be seen as a legend. Imagine that dog who scared a lion. You know what I mean? We can be that dog in real life that scares the lion. And a lot of times it's just confidence can throw people off. Confidence can truly throw people off. Because now they're wondering, you ever you see these movies and stuff, or you're at the bar or something like that, and it could be like a real big dude. Say you're a real big dude, and they confront like somebody smaller who they're expecting to be scared, right? That whole bully, that coward mentality. I'm going to intimidate this person because I'm way bigger than them, and therefore it should work that way. But when that smaller person is not intimidated, it's not rah-rah, but they're just willing to, like take it wherever the other person want to take it. That's a little bit like you wondering like, yo, what does this person know like that I don't know? Like, why are they, if I was them, I would be nervous. So why are they not nervous? Those are the situations that occur, and it occurs in all areas. It can occur on the workforce, on the job, whatever it may be. If you really want to see yourself, if you want to be seen as like a godly figure, heroic, or somebody that people can trust to lead, then embrace the situations that everybody else will be scared of. Walk towards them, run towards them, but move with logic. We have to be able to think, use our creativity, use our imagination. That's what the dog was able to do. It was able to outsmart, outwit, but it had to be presented in a way where there was a certain level of confidence, because if that confidence wasn't there, then the lion would have just still been in bully mode to where they know that they could just rip apart this smaller animal. But instead, that certain level of confidence not only scared the lion off, but it allowed the dog to think. It allowed the dog to think where it's like, I can get out of this situation. And then what came to their mind? It's something that can actually get them out of the situation. So confidence is a tricky thing. Confidence is a tricky thing. Now, we never want to get too arrogant, but the confidence, when there's a certain level of logic, like that's what prevents it from being arrogant. But yeah, it can be a tool that we should all be using. Shai wrote, that's why we need to have more than one income. We need to get away from the traditional way of life when it comes to the 9 to 5. Yeah. I can remember I was just talking to my big bro Ant about this yesterday. Not this Ant, but both my bros, but this is my big bro Ant. So I remember being in Miami with him a while ago, and Ant has made a lot of money, lost a lot of money, made a lot of money. Like, he's always been like a get money type of guy. If you know Ant, then you know what it is. And I remember years ago, he was mentoring me. I remember we just sitting out. We're on like the 30th floor. He had a condo in Miami, and we're just sitting out, just kind of looking out. And he's like, "Yo, you expecting to get wealthy just by playing ball? Like, you expecting to get rich just by playing ball?" He's like, "Yo, you got to have at least 5 to 7 incomes. for you to really be in a position to where you can sit back and say like, okay, this is where the beginning of being secure comes into play. Now, 5, we may see that as a lot. We may see 5 as a lot, but think about it. Let's say that we're in a relationship. We're in a relationship where, let's say, both people have a 9 to 5. What's to say that you can't create something a little bit on the side? What are you investing in with your 9 to 5s? So it doesn't have to necessarily, income doesn't have to necessarily come from things that we are actively working every day. We can create the passive income just by investing our money in a smart way. And it doesn't necessarily have to be rich overnight. But think about it. If we're just making, a couple $100s from something a month, that's passive. Maybe feeding it a little bit more and then seeing how once we create a system to where it's like we're putting in $5, but now consistently getting $1 every month, that's what we want. That's a system. So where now it's like, okay, now if I'm getting, $1 for every 5 that I put in every month, now if I put in 10, now I'm getting $2 every month. $2 every month. And obviously over a long period of time, that's going to be a lot of compounding interest or whatever you would call it. So yeah. So confidence is key. Confidence is key. All right. Next video. Hold on. Where's the video that I wanted to show y'all? Boom, 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 boom. Hold on. Am I on? Oh, it's because I'm on YouTube. Let's take it back to YouTube for a sec. My apologies for that. Hold on. I just got to switch this up. This is a video on gratitude with Jordan Peterson that I wanted y'all to think about. We may get into a little bit of a longer video on gratitude, but probably since it's already 9:40, we probably will not make it, but definitely wanted to show y'all this one.
It's not that easy to be grateful because life does involve pain and suffering. It's easy to rationally justify resentment. It truly is. But it's extremely toxic, and it's tied up in a strange way with deceit and arrogance too, which is something I won't get into. But we've lost the notion that virtue is something to cultivate. Like gratitude and courage are both difficult. There's all sorts of reasons to be timid and ungrateful. It's to work against the evidence in some way that constitutes the core of the virtue. I've talked to my wife about this a lot. She's been very much trying to cultivate a sense of gratitude and try to observe in every situation what miraculous gift she's been given within the context of that situation. Of course, sometimes that's extraordinarily difficult if the situation is dire, but you could ask yourself, you could abstract away from that and say, well, even if the situation is dire, is it so self-evident that the best stance to prepare yourself still wouldn't be one of gratitude? And it seems to me that that's a very hard argument to shake.
What do y'all think about that? What do y'all think about that? And we'll show this Andrew Huberman. Hopefully I'm pronouncing his name right. Huberman, whatever his name. However the pronunciation is, my apologies if I'm pronouncing it wrong. But what do we think? And I'm gonna play this next video as well. Obviously it's Thanksgiving, right? It's Thanksgiving week. We're supposed to be thankful. We're supposed to be grateful. All these different things. How does gratitude factor into your success or lack thereof?
We now know with certainty that a regular gratitude practice can enhance many, many aspects of our physical and mental health by default. So we don't always have to constantly be in practice trying to be happy. So what does an effective gratitude practice look like? Turns out that the most potent form of gratitude practice is not a gratitude practice where you express gratitude, but rather where you receive gratitude, where you receive thanks. Receiving gratitude is actually much more potent in terms of the positive shifts that it can create than giving gratitude. Think into when somebody was thankful for something that you did and really start to think about how you felt in receiving that gratitude, or imagining or thinking about deeply the emotional experience of somebody else receiving help. Repeated gratitude practice changes the way that your brain circuits work. The circuits associated with motivation and pursuit are actually enhanced as well. So that's very strong incentive.
And it makes a lot of sense when you think about it. Why does it make a lot of sense? Especially when he was looking at it from a receiving gratitude standpoint. When you feel that somebody on your job, somebody that you respect. Let's say your boss comes over to you, shows you some love, like, yo, we appreciate, what you're doing. We may do a little bit extra for you. Hey, we have a bonus for you. Or, hey, we want you to take this gift card and go out to eat, or just something saying like, just want to let you know, I know I'm hard on you. And it even works better in a lot of ways when the people are actually hard on you and hold you to an extremely high standard. And they say, hey, you've been doing an exceptional job. You've been doing great work. It's been impacting our entire team. The reason why we're having a lot of our success is directly due to your productivity and how you've embraced, this leader, whatever it may be, right? I'm giving the speech. When somebody makes you feel that way, those are the type of people that you want to run through a wall for. Think about a relationship. When somebody shows that they appreciate you, that's the type of person that you want to do any and everything to make them happy, right? To enhance their lives in whatever way. So gratitude really, it goes a few different ways. And it goes a long way, I should say, in a few different directions. But all of it, when it comes down to it, is putting ourselves in the best possible position to not only be the best versions of ourselves, but to also give the best versions of ourselves to each other. So when we understand and can appreciate what gratitude does to us when we receive it, it allows us to be a lot more, what's the right word that I should say? A lot more open, but a lot more intentional, I should say, intentional in how we're giving gratitude, and also understanding, like, as we are more intentional, when we understand how this person receives it, how does this person feel appreciated? Because a lot of times we like to give things off how we would appreciate them rather than giving them to somebody based on how that individual would appreciate and receive them. So that was a big thing for me. And it's funny, like, Thanksgiving is always a weird week for me, my family, I think, just because, and I shouldn't say it's not, we're not, it's been up and down as far as, what we call it. We started calling it Family Week, or Family Day, I should say, just because, my family being Native American and stuff like that, there's always a little bit of a weirdness, around it. And I was getting ready to show you guys the video. We're not going to show that video, but, with everything going on right now, as we discussed before, it's an interesting time to kind of look back on the history of Thanksgiving and to kind of look back at the Holocaust that happened in America, right? A lot of times we don't understand, like, I guess to the victor, what does it say? When, the winner determines the history, right? So the winner writes history. So when the winner writes history, a lot of times we'll look at certain situations in a more favorable light than we should actually look at them, and understanding what a situation truly is. So throughout this week, I don't know, definitely want everybody to be thankful, be grateful. A lot of the ways that, or a tool that I try to use to be more positive with certain things, even when things are not looking like they're going to turn out in a positive way, but just to show the things that we are appreciative of, the things that we are grateful of. And that kind of serves as a compass for us in a lot of ways. So let me catch up with these comments. Najah wrote, when you are truly grateful, you appreciate everything, and that energy is transferred to the things around you, and the universe continuously rewards you in all your ways, in all ways. I agree. Like, the only way, like, when we talk about it all the time. That's why I didn't want to say it again. But when we look at ourselves as not only broadcasters, but receivers, we have to understand that the only way to receive good is to not only give out good, but to appreciate the good that we do receive. When we appreciate certain things in our lives, certain people in our lives, what we're doing is we're inviting and open the door for more of those things to come into our life. We're focusing on those things. We're telling the universe, this is what we like. This is what we appreciate. So therefore we invite it. Now, the on the flip side, on the negative side, is it also works in a negative way. When we show a certain level of appreciation for negative things, then we're inviting that negative energy into our lives. And obviously that's going to play into the outcome of certain situations that occur in our lives. So when we can control ourselves from the beginning of this show, what were we talking about? Being able to control how we respond, being able to not necessarily harbor a lot of the resentment, not harboring all those ill feelings towards the situation, and just not allowing ourselves to get as bothered by certain situations. It's only going to enhance our lives. It's only going to allow us to live in a more positive way, to be more light rather than dark, right? Like we want to be light. We want to be a ball of energy. When we run into people, we want to make them feel better, not necessarily be the type of person that you ever speak to somebody and it's like, damn, like I was in a good mood before I spoke to this person. Now I'm just kind of like, I'm over here thinking life is amazing. Now I speak to them and it's like they're telling you about all the negative things that are happening to them. They're in that victim mode where now you start to, yeah, that's right. You're right. Now you start to feed into it. No, we have to avoid that. We have to do what we said earlier and see how we can play a game where the influences in our day-to-day are more focused around positive energy rather than negative energy. When any situation occurs, think about it like we have a pie, where we have a meter. Either it's moving it's along a spectrum. Where are we along this spectrum? Negative over here, positive. Throughout the day, we're kind of bouncing back and forth, moving between the negative and positive. The more that we can look at things from a positive perspective and give out positive and be in control of our reactions to certain situations, we're going to end up on the more positive end of that spectrum. And that's going to invite more positive things. That's it. Our minds are so powerful. Our minds are so powerful. And yeah, it's funny. I'm about to go off on a little bit of a tangent real quick. Sorry. But I was sitting here thinking, I'm like, yo, for people who always expect great things, like if little kids from a young age, I always just thought that I was going to do some things that were going to be amazing. I just always felt that. Why? Because I had a tremendous support system that told me like, yo, you can do anything you want in this world. And I started to realize, or I was thinking back and questioning why certain things ended up in my favor. Why, whenever it seems like, whenever a situation where I was nervous about, that I was a little bit uncomfortable about, didn't really, wasn't really super confident in it, but it still ended up working out. It was either a lesson that I was able to take away from it, or it was a win. And sometimes I didn't necessarily know which one was which at the time until later on when you see the benefits that happen in the big picture. But it started to make me ask this question where if you're the type of person that you always think big, you think positive to the point where you expect great things to happen, where you dream big and you have a purpose that's built around it, then it almost feels as if the pieces just fall into the right place for these type of people. And I'm not always there, but I just realized certain instances in my life where that does happen, to where I'm always thinking big when I have a positive mindset with things. No matter how things are going, the pieces always fall into place in my favor. So that's just something that I started to think about. I'm not sure if you guys go throughout your lives thinking about that, but when we focus on the things that are in our control and we approach them from a positive mindset, to me, that's us controlling the universe around ourselves. That's controlling the opportunities. That's us controlling the outcomes that will occur in our lives just by simply what we embrace and the energy that we hold internally. So my recommendation would be the light. Show an extreme amount of gratitude this week, but all weeks. Reach out to some people that you're thankful for. Reach out to some people that you have this deep level of gratitude for, and maybe take some time to think about the situations that you're grateful for. Think about those, because once again, we're broadcasting it out. So therefore, we can make sure that we're receiving those things. So as we finish up, as we wrap it up, 30 seconds. I know we didn't have a lot of drama stuff on here. I thought about mentioning the whole Cassie stuff with Diddy, but maybe we'll save that for more of our Friday conversation. And once again, on Friday, whoever wants to cam up, we doing a group type of session. We welcome it. We welcome it. So for our 30 seconds, just want us to think about some of the things that we're grateful for and the things that we would want more of in our lives, or some things that may not currently be in our lives. But just matter of fact, show the things that are in our lives, be grateful for, think about those. Let's build on those. We don't necessarily have to just have something new. Let's build on the foundation of the things that we're grateful now. So therefore we can invite more of those energy into our day-to-day lives and build upon that. So 30 seconds, let's go. What are we grateful for? All right. Yo. And before, hold up, time out. See, I can't get, I go in meditation mode, then get excited. But this is what happens when I'm appreciative. Yo, I didn't tell y'all. So a lot of times, a lot of y'all that follow me on social media, you'll see that I post stuff about like this accident umbrella thing. You're probably like, what the hell is this? I'm going to give y'all a little bit more information on what exactly accident umbrella is on the next show, because I like to invite y'all into some potential opportunities with it that we do. So real quick, if you're not familiar with it, accident umbrella is simply my business along with some other partners where we help people navigate the healthcare kind of injury world, where if you get injured in a car accident or if you're just injured overall. I'll give y'all a little bit more game on that, because I would love to kind of invite y'all into that space, because I think there's an opportunity there for us to help some people as well. But with that being said, I'll explain a little bit more on that on Wednesday. Friday, I'm excited because we got a few people camming up. I don't know, maybe some of us could even be in person. We'll see. But, I'll be back in Jersey. So if anybody's around, definitely hit me up. But appreciate y'all. Love y'all, man. Y'all know what it is. It's Monday. It's Monday. There should be no more excitement that we have throughout the week than on a Monday. So we all have the opportunity to become limitless, but it has to come with the actions, as Ant was saying. It has to come with our decisions. We set the limits, right? We set the limits, we set the ceilings, and we can also decide to break through those limits and break through those ceilings. So strength and honor, onward and upward. Y'all know what we do. We elevate on purpose, both from an intentional standpoint as well as doing what we're here to do, making the impact in our communities that we should be making. And y'all know what we do. We get to that big bag, with integrity in everything that we do, of course. So with that, I'll see y'all on Wednesday. Keep sharing the videos. We appreciate it. It's greatly appreciated. And I'll see y'all on Wednesday. So y'all have a good one. Ew.